How has Governor Cuomo been gaslighting, and how can you spot it too? I'm going to be breaking it down in this video coming up. Okay, so lots of politicians, lots of people in the news definitely gaslight. Lots of people in your personal life gaslight too, but sometimes you see it in celebrities, you see it in politicians. So I just want to highlight how Governor Cuomo has been gaslighting so that you guys can see it played out in the public eye. That way you can spot it. And I'm also going to, at the end of this video, give you some ways that you can fight back against gaslighting and be able to shut it down. So make sure you watch all the way to the end so that when you're negotiating, you'll be able to have some ways, some actual concrete ways to shift that dynamic and shut it down. Okay. So Governor Cuomo, obviously, all these employees came out and said that he was sexually harassing them. The state attorney came out and said that they investigated, they talked to hundreds of people, they analyzed like 74,000 pieces of evidence. They looked at text, they looked at photos, they talked to all these people, and they ended up filing this report, and he ended up ultimately resigning. But I saw an article actually in Huffington Post about how he actually was gaslighting. When you look at the emails, and there was a woman that actually came out, there was actually another article about this where they were actually talking about how he was gaslighting when they went to express their feelings about how they felt when he was basically crossing the line. They felt like, uncomfortable, or that he was crossing boundaries, that he was, gaslighting them. So let's first of all go back and talk about what gaslighting is again. So gaslighting is when somebody says something to someone and says, hey, you said this, or this is how it happened, or wasn't this what you said, or something like that. They say, no, that's not how it happened, or that's not what you said, or they try to make you think you're crazy. You're remembering it wrong. You said it wrong. That's not how it happened. They're trying to make you think that you're crazy. Okay, so that's basically what gaslighting is. So while there are a lot of specifics here, one of the women, for example, Charlotte Bennett, said that he was absolutely gaslighting her by insisting that he was only showing concern towards her during certain encounters that had made her feel uncomfortable. Like it wasn't sexual harassment, it was only showing concern. And by the way, I just want to make a comment here that I'm not trying to be a Democrat or Republican in any of these videos. I'm not leaning one way or another. I'm just simply pointing out examples of narcissistic behavior so that you guys can spot it when you are going to negotiate. That's it. Okay, so that's my little disclaimer when it comes to these things. All right. Okay, so let me just go back. In another one of these denials, he shifts the blame on his accuser, saying that his executive assistant, who accused him of groping her, was the initiator of the hugs, and he was just going along with it because he didn't want to make anyone feel awkward about anything. Okay. Other examples of things like gaslighting, for example, these are not specific examples of what Cuomo might have said or not have said, because I don't know exactly what he might have said. But an example of gaslighting might be, that's not how it happened. I was only showing concern for you. Other forms of gaslighting are just complete denials. It didn't happen. You're just crazy. You're remembering it wrong. You agreed to it. And I do have a lot more of this on my video called Narcissistic Gaslighting Phrases. You can definitely check out. And if you are definitely so ready to shut them down, give me a shut them down in the comments right now. So one of the ways that you can be sure to protect yourself against this in any potential legal action down the road is to definitely keep a journal in real time. I've won entire cases on people's journals. So, like, when it happens, just write things down in real time. You can keep notes on your phone, you can keep notes wherever you need to, but just write it down in real time, exactly what happened. Because if you're keeping it in real time and you're doing it at the same time, then you can say, you know, I've always kept this journal and this is what it said. That's definitely really helpful. And, you know, I had to deal with a narcissist in business myself, and I was gaslit by this particular narcissist as well. As we were wrapping up some business stuff, I had this particular narcissist do things to me, and I had to go back to this person and say, hey, you know, this is not what we agreed to. And the person would come back to me and say, oh, we discussed blah, blah, blah. And they would, you know, shreds of things that we might have said and twist it into something else. That's something else that they do, by the way. They might take, you know, like a piece of a conversation and turn it into another whole conversation and then make it seem like that was the conversation. Like you're not remembering what the real conversation was. You're remembering it wrong, like acting like you're the one who's remembering it wrong. So another way that you can protect yourself in these situations is actually just send a confirmatory email right after. You know, we just had a meeting, or we just had a Zoom call, or we just had a telephone conversation, and this is what we discussed, and this is what we agreed to. Send it directly after, even send it a follow-up text, something like that. A lot of times, if you don't record it in writing, I just say it didn't happen. If you don't record it in writing, it didn't happen. Because, you know, they'll just say it didn't happen, or it didn't happen that way, or you're remembering it wrong, whatever. I mean, you know, narcissists will do and say whatever they need to what I call project and deflect. They'll just revisionist history is what they live on, and they completely just don't take responsibility for anything. And a lot of times they do get away with it, at least initially, and it is frustrating. So the best way that you can defend yourself against that is to, as soon as you possibly can, either write it down somewhere or send them a confirmatory writing, so that you are at least protecting yourself as much as you can against that gaslighting. It is frustrating. I've been there. I just saw this playing out in the news with Governor Cuomo, and, you know, you hear all these women, and obviously the allegations are alleged at this point, but these are examples of what the women are saying is gaslighting. And I wanted to take this opportunity to show you what gaslighting looks like in real time, and also take this opportunity to teach you how to protect yourself against that in a negotiation setting, so that you can potentially have that power when you are negotiating, either in a workplace setting or in any kind of a litigation setting. So if you are getting ready to negotiate, you are certainly free to grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com, and also join my free private Facebook group at Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. I'll definitely drop links to both of those things below as well. And also, if you like this video, give it a like, give it a share, drop me a comment. Would love to know what you think, and also any other examples of gaslighting that you may have seen. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I invite you to do that now. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm so glad that you're here. Remember that today is a great day to start negotiating your best life, and I will definitely see you in the next video.